This is a tutorial on how to create face paint and face tattoo effects in TikTok Effect House. Alright, so first things first, we need to download a face mask template. This is so that all the tattoos and changes that we make to the face are actually recognized by TikTok's facial recognition technology, all that stuff. So we're gonna come over here to this website. The link is in the description, or you could just write it out, I don't know. So you download the template that corresponds with the version of TikTok Effect House that you're using, and yeah, you're good to go. So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using Krita or Krita or Krita, however you want to pronounce it, because it's free and free is good. If you have access to something even fancier like Photoshop or Procreate, then do feel free to use that, O member of Piltover. As soon as you open up the file, you're going to be met with this person over here, a whole bunch of layers, but most importantly, 3 people. There's person 1, person 2, and person 3 of different skin tones and presumably different races. Please, whenever you make a makeup filter or a face tats, face paint sort of filter like this, please test it out on at least all 3 of these skin tones and as many other skin tones as you possibly can to make sure that it looks and works properly for as many people as possible. You really want to be as inclusive as possible with the effects that you make. So another little handy tool that we have access to here are these guides. So these guides just sort of show, where your lip color would start and end, sort of where, your wings and your eyelashes would sort of start and end, how everything is going to read in the TikTok sort of face mask system that they've set up. Because essentially what we're here to do is draw a new face upon an existing face, which is, basically what makeup is. These sort of help us position things correctly. Alright, and if you couldn't tell from the intro, I'm going to be doing Hisoka's face paint from Hunter x Hunter. So yeah, I just want to pull up a reference photo of him so that I can do this as accurately as I can. So to pull up a reference photo for any new Krita users, just click on this little pin my bobs over here, click on the plus sign and go look for the photo in your computer. If you just drag and drop the photo from your computer, it's going to insert as a layer. So yeah. So I'm going to be doing both of them, the star and the teardrop. Let's get drawing. So I'm not even about to sit here and pretend that I know how to draw a star, please. So what I did is I got a photo off of Google of, a star, the teardrop as well. And then I'm going to drop them in here and sort of warp them so that I take into consideration the concavity of a human face. So what I mean by that is if you look at Hisoka's teardrop over there, it isn't a straight flat teardrop just chilling on his face. It has dimension, it has curves and stuff because his face has curves, right? So I'm gonna do that. And then I'm just gonna trace my own star and teardrop from, the warped star and teardrop and have my face paint that way. And then after 62 years, I was finally satisfied with the positioning and the line work. So I filled in the shapes. Basically, I just took Hisoka's colors exactly as they are, but they really saturated. So what I went ahead and did is then decrease the opacity so that it looks less like a sticker and more like face paint or makeup. These obviously aren't hard values where I could just be decrease the opacity to 80%. This is something that you have to play around with and see what works for the thing that you have going. Alright, so after I did the face paints, I sort of decided that wasn't enough. Sure, it was giving Hisoka, but it wasn't giving Hisoka enough. So I wanted to sort of channel, I don't know, he has this soft, flamboyant sort of energy to him. This I'm a menace. I'm probably the most questionable character on here, but you don't hate me. you don't hate me because you can't, because I look good doing it. Like, I want to channel that. So what I decided to do is to like switch up the eye just a little bit, add like a little, like a little winged channel, that 2D-esque sort of like, energy that comes with it. And then I'm just gonna like add a little bit of liner and buff it out using Gaussian blur. So these are done on 2 separate layers. The wing is on 1 layer, and that has no blur to it, and then the eyeliner is basically just a hard line drawn under the eye, and then I added a blur to the under eye to sort of like make it all smoky and give that effect. Like that, we had the eye look very mysterious, but I'm a clown, but I'm a menace, but I look good. We got that eye, and now we need to test it on every single skin color that we have available to us. Right, boom, bungee gum has the properties of both rubber and gum. Boom, bungee gum has the properties of both rubber and gum. Alright, so the last thing I decided to add was nose contour for 2 reasons. 1, because Hisoka has like a really super thin nose, but also 2, so that I can show you that it's possible to do things like contour and highlights and stuff like that across a wide range of skin tones. So you can think of contour as like the place where like the least amount of light would hit a face. So basically, if like a light source is coming directly from in front of a person, it's gonna hit harshest like along the nose bridge and like under the eye and by the forehead, right? Because those are sort of flat surfaces facing the eye. But when you have things like a nose bridge, especially if you have like a really pointy sort of outward nose, then less light hits the sides of your nose like that, and that's what contour is. It's like the more shadowy part of your face. I don't know, I hope that makes sense. So the way I did it, and I'm sure there are like a whole host of other ways to do it, but the way I did it was I sort of created really harsh lines ending the nose bridge and sort of like going into the side part of the nose. And then just like I did with the eyeliner, I applied a Gaussian blur to the layer to sort of like buff it out, because like humans aren't made of like super harsh lines, like we have like surfaces that curve and stuff. So I sort of reflected that with the use of a Gaussian blur. And then check this out. Here's what happens when I use it on different skin tones. It still looks like a proper nose bridge. It still looks like real contour. Like it might be slightly more defined in the different skin tones, obviously, but it still makes sense. These aren't 3 different nose contours that I've created. This is the same contour that works on all 3 skin tones at least, and hopefully more skin tones than this, but it is possible. Please do test your effect on multiple skin tones to make sure that it works at least across this board. And now what you want to do is export each layer as a PNG. So you're going to switch off all the other layers, have one layer open, and export that as a PNG that you're going to now put into Effect House. Okay, hold on. Before we move over to Effect House, you need a break and I need to show you my IG. In case you're an anime fan looking to follow someone who makes fun little anime content, there is my account, and my videos look something like this. Okay, so we're going to head on over to Effect House and create an empty project. So most, if not all, features of like, face altering effects are over here by Add Object Face Effects. If you're going to be doing that like extensively, then I do encourage you to, like explore these at your own pace. So the first thing I want to add is face stretch, and this basically gives us like a little map of the face where you can like reposition facial features like on the face. I don't know if you've ever like used, you know, a TikTok filter and you're like, oh my god, I didn't know my nose was this slick. What is going on? It's not that slick. It's face stretch. I'm just going to take a random node here, stretch it out. This is what it does. So because I'm doing, you know, like a Hisoka sort of face filter, I wanted to sort of like taper in the nose in addition to the contour, so I'm just going to do that. Just remember though, like when you do make facial alterations like this, that you want to keep the face within the realm of human. Like, are we electric sliding around the boundaries of catfish? Yes. But are we electric sliding around the boundaries of extraterrestrial? No, we are not. Unless you're making like an alien filter, then like obviously you'd be the outlier. But if you just want like a regular, you know, cute sort of face filter or just cute sort of face paint on top of like a regular looking face, you do want to keep the face a human being face. So inside TikTok Effect House, we have access to even more faces. So after I've tapered in the nose, I'm just going to test out what it looks like on everyone else to make sure that, you know, it makes sense overall. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and import all of our photos into TikTok Effect House. We either going to drag and drop them from the folder that they're in, or just click on import and import them from there. And then we're going to head over to the hierarchy, go add object, face effect, face mask. So because the template we were working on in Krita was from the face mask template, we're going to add everything to face mask. So there are varying templates. For instance, if you were making changes to like the eye color, if you're making like an eye color effect, then we would have used the eye template in Krita, and then here we would go add object, face effect, eye effect. So because we did everything in the face mask filter, we are going to be using face mask. After you've added face mask, then change the texture to the image that you have. So as you can see here, I've added Hisoka's face paint, and I'm basically just going to rinse and repeat for everything else. Also, the opacity is auto set to like 0.5, so do adjust the opacity accordingly. And remember to test it on everyone else. So the exact same thing that we did for the face paint, we're going to do for everything else. So you head to your hierarchy, add the face mask, change the texture, rinse, repeat. And then after I did the face paint, eyelashes and nose contour, I decided I was going to just test it out on myself to see if it still makes sense. The frame rate is a little wonky, so do excuse that. I'll do like a real test at the end, but it was looking quite alright so far. Alrighty, and then after I said bungee gum 100 times, I decided to go and add everything else. And now finally we have a working visual of the look we've been creating so far. There we have the eyes, the completed eyes, the face paint, the nose stretch, nose contour in action. It's looking good, it's looking mysterious. You know, it's looking like I'm about to strut through the hunter exams in my cloaks. It's looking, you know, it's giving clown. It's giving menace. We are good to go. After we test it out on everyone else though, of course. And the moment we've all been waiting for, well, I've been waiting for this forever. I want to see how it looks. I'm going to preview this in TikTok.